Welcome everyone to this week's video. Today we are on Herp number 16. 16 weeks of this, and I hope you are enjoying it as much as I am. Today we have a very interesting animal for you, one that I have personally caught, and it was one of the coolest things that I've ever caught and had handled. This thing is powerful, to say the least. Doesn't look like it, but it is powerful. Today we are talking about the mud snake. Mud snake, or scientific name Ferencia abacura. And I'll say that again, Ferencia abacura. This is part of the family Colubridae, and we've done a couple of colubrids, I think, already. Colubridae is the largest family of snakes. It used to be thought to be more of a what they call trash can families. Basically, if you didn't know where a snake would go, you'd put it in Colubridae. Now it's kind of getting better in terms of the family's colubrids actually being a distinctive family. So yes, this snake lives in southern U.S., southeastern U.S., primarily southeastern. This photo was taken by Armin Meyer in 2019. Just want to throw that out there. These live on the edges of streams and cypress swamps. So real swampy, very slow moving water. They can't really be in really fast moving water, and not really cold water either. As you can see in this picture, they have a very glossy black back. And in this picture, you can see that they have a red and black belly, but the red will go up the sides and transfer kind of into a more lighter red, kind of pinkish color. Sometimes you can get full bars, but usually they just extend up the sides in bars. The head scalation, so the scales on the head is very distinctive. I won't go into exactly the counts of the scales, but just know that it is very, very distinctive. Of course, if you see one of these, chances are you're not going to mistake it for much else. It's not going to be, well, I think it's a mud snake, but better get down and make sure, let me count them scales on the head. No, these things are pretty distinctive. These can get to about 40 inches. These normally range in between 40 and 54 inches, which is about 1 to 1.4 meters. That's typically what you'll find in the adult side. However, there are records, and one specific record I know of that is over 80 inches, which is a little over 2 meters. These things can get big, and I hope you can see from these pictures, they also have a very heavy cylindrical body. These things are thick, very, very heavy body snake, real muscular. Think if you've ever handled a python or an anaconda, their bodies really feel like that if you handle one of these. And these are very slick, I don't want to say slick snakes, but these have very smooth scales on them, so they're not like the real rough. And that helps because these are almost fully aquatic. These snakes spend almost all of their time in the water, and they really only leave the water to lay eggs and to hibernate. And we'll get into that a little bit more. These are fully nocturnal. Well, I shouldn't say it. You can see these during the day, but primarily these are a nocturnal snake. They do not come out during the day very often. And as you can see here, when they are on land and they do get startled, they kind of roll up into a ball and into a tight ball, and they'll expose their belly. They are not venomous, so you don't have to worry about that. But they are giving off the perception that they are with this bright coloration. Again, that is aposematic coloring. They're not venomous though, so it's more of a show. They're saying stay away from me, but they really can't do much other than the fact that they are a big snake. So definitely, I mean, and they'll hurt if they bite you, but it's not going to cause, they're not going to be venomous like a rattlesnake. These prey primarily on siren and amphiumas. These are very big, oh my goodness, what's the word? These are very big amphibians that is found in their range. A siren is think like a snake little salamander, or they can get about this big. Amphiuma is a thicker version of a siren, and we actually have done a video on the three-toed amphiuma earlier on, so I encourage you to check that out. These things would love to eat a amphiuma. They don't really boa constrict you, Anubis. But something about these amphibians, and I'm sure most of you have handled a frog in your life. One thing about amphibians is they are very, very slick, hard to hold on to, which is part of their defense mechanism. They have very slick skin, heavy mucus layer. Well, these actually have enlarged teeth in the back of their jaw, more in like the rear of their jaw, that helps them hold on. Real spiky teeth, and that helps them hold on to those real slippery amphibians that they're going to be eating. They will eat other amphibians, even the adults, but when they're young, that's when they're really going after tadpoles and frogs and other amphibians like that. Most of the time, from what I've seen and researched, they seem to primarily eat sirens and amphiumas. Now, we talked about they leave the water to lay their eggs. Well, their eggs actually lay their eggs in a cavity that they have dug. So they nest in moist soil. So they'll dig up a nest and then they'll bury their eggs in just like a little pile of moist soil. Something that I found that was kind of interesting is these have actually been known to use old alligator nests. I don't think they use the alligator nests with them, but they might. And the reason why that is because they are known to where the females will actually stay with the eggs and I guess protect them from predators. That's the only thing that I can think of. So they'll stay and protect the eggs for quite a while, essentially until they hatch. But there is no parental care after that. They do not eat rodents. These are really meant to eating just amphibians. Now, something about these are available in the pet trade. I probably wouldn't encourage you to get these for a pet trade because they don't act like normal snakes. You can't really give them rodents. You might be able to train a pet one to eat rodents, but I haven't really looked into it. But I know you can buy these in the US for around $50, $50 to $90 in that range. I have, obviously, with that coloration, they're very striking. People love to see them. Now, something that interests me when I first heard of these and started researching into them when I was in college, and when I finally got my first one, it was an incredible sight. The eyes. And this photo was taken by Lisa Powers in 2015. The eyes of the mud snake are just really, really interesting. Black with a dark red. Sometimes it'll be fully red. And if you get really close on them, they'll have really dark flecks in there, almost like a red reverse galaxy where the stars are just little black dots. Really, really interesting. But the actual interesting thing, and as everyone who has watched these knows that I like to end the video on a very interesting fact, is I don't know if you saw in this picture, but if you look on the tail actually ends in a really short but very hard spike. Just a real spike. And that is why one of their nicknames is actually called the stinging snake. They're known to prod prey items with the spike. And if they have a siren or something in their mouth, they will actually whip their tail around to kind of poke at the amphibian, and also to try and get them lined up to make it easier for them to swallow. But it is very important. This is not a stinger. This is not like a scorpion snake hybrid. It is just a little spike that they just jab at you, which is one of the main ways they defend themselves. They don't really bite. If you catch one of these, they're not likely to bite you. I'm not saying that they won't bite you. I'm just saying they're more likely to bury their head, and they're gonna whip their tail at you and try and poke you with that spike. So really interesting thing. But thank you guys so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you again. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you do. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying these as much as I am. If you have any questions, please leave a comment asking. Thank you guys, and once again, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and